Hey there, everyone. Thanks for tuning in again. Woody Bendel here from Next Level Growth Strategies. This week's business tip is certain to stir things up a little. Why? Because this is often a costly collision between passion, emotions, impulsiveness, and a lot of tireless effort and market forces that tend to become a real problem because of a lack of objectivity, rationality, and plain common sense. But yet, people continue to go down this path over and over because they don't understand the one basic thing needed for new businesses and new products to be successful. Just one basic thing. And I'm going to share that with you for free. Yep, you heard that right. Free. Okay, so stick around because I know you are not going to want to miss out on this week's tip. All right, welcome back everyone. And before we dive on in, if you're a fan of our videos, be sure to give us a like and go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you never miss out on one of our weekly business tips. So let me lay this fact on you. Did you know that over 80% of new products launched fail? Think about that, 80%. I mean, that's worse than the worst major league batting average, right? And here's another set of facts for you. Did you know that 20% of new businesses fail within their first 2 years and that less than 25% of them make it 15 years? Those are some pretty lousy odds. But what if I told you there's a way to improve those odds a lot? Now, this reminds me of a story about Thomas Edison's first patented invention, the electrographic vote counting machine. As the story goes, this machine was going to revolutionize and significantly streamline the voting process in Congress. This new device was truly amazing, but the thing was, none of the folks in the U.S. Senate or House of Representatives wanted it, and this really cool invention was a colossal flop. Now, the reason as to why the folks in Congress didn't want this thing is a whole other story, but the fact of the matter simply boiled down to nobody wanted it. There wasn't a need for it, at least not at the time there wasn't, and therefore there wasn't any demand for it. And as a business leader, you already know that it's pretty hard, if not impossible, to sell something where there isn't any demand. But the thing is, this type of stuff still happens all the time, all over the world. Remember that 80% failure rate stat that I mentioned earlier, and that 80% stat has remained the same for decades. Incredible. And the reason this continues to happen is what I like to call cool idea blindness. People come up with what in their mind is a really cool idea, and the more they think about it and the more they dream about it, the cooler it becomes. People pour their hearts and their souls and their life savings into these cool ideas because they're absolutely certain that they've got the next really big idea. Let me let you in on something that Thomas Edison took away from his failed voting machine. He is quoted as saying, "Anything that won't sell, I don't want to invent." Let that sink in. Okay, so here's this week's tip. If you're in business and you're looking to grow through innovation, or if you're thinking about launching a new business or a new product, just remember that cool ideas can be hot messes. There have been billions and billions of dollars wasted in the pursuit of cool ideas, and that was exactly the case in Edison's electrographic vote counting machine. A very cool idea that was well more than 100 years ahead of its time. It absolutely had zero demand because at the time, the need for it didn't exist. And that's the key right there. There has to be a need. Let me say that again so it sinks in. If you're going to launch a new product or new business, and if you want it to be successful, it has to solve an existing need. It has to fulfill an unmet or underserved need that enough people are willing to pay enough for. And the thing is, this absolutely doesn't need to be a guessing game. There is a proven method out there that can deliver 80+% success rates as opposed to 80% failure rates. And in my mind, an 80% success rate is very cool. You just need to identify and solve for those needs that people are willing to pay for having solved. And if you'd like to learn more about how you can do this, you'll find a link in the description below for our Continuous Innovation Framework white paper that describes our process that has helped leading global brands successfully create and launch new award-winning innovations. So there you have it. That's this week's tip for getting your organization to its next level of profitable growth by creating clarity, alignment, and consistency. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you next time.